Start from the 17th verse. No, we'll start from 17th itself. It's fine. Pitahamasya jagato mata tata pitamahah.
पिताहमस्य जगतो माता धाता पितामहः
Vedhyam pavitramomkara Viksamayajureva cha.
वेद्यं पवित्रमोङ्कार रुक्सामयजुरेव च
Katir Partha Prabhuk Sakshi Nivasa Sharanam Suhrit.
गतिर्भर्ता प्रभुः साक्षी निवासः शरणं सुहृत्
Prabhava Pralayasthanam Nidhanam Bijamavyayam.
प्रभव प्रलयस्थानं निदानं बीजमव्ययम्
Tapamyahamaham Varsham Nihrnam Yusrujami cha.
तपाम्यहमहं वर्षं गृह्णाम्युत्सजामि च
Amritam chaiva mrityuscha sadasachaham Arjuna.
अमृतं चैव मृत्युश्च सदसच्चाहमर्जुन
Traividya mam somapaputta papa.
त्रैविद्या मां सोमपापूतपापा
Yajnairishtva swargatim praptayante.
यज्ञैरिष्ट्वा स्वर्गतिं प्राप्तयन्ते
Te punyamasadya surendra lokam.
ते पुण्यमासाद्य सुरेन्द्रलोकम्
Ashnanti dishyanti divyan divi deva bhogan.
अश्नन्ति दिव्यान् दिवि देवभोगान्
Tetam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam.
ते तं भुक्त्वा स्वर्गलोकं विशालम्
Kshine punye matyalokam vishanti.
क्षीणे पुण्ये मर्त्यलोकं विशन्ति
Evam trayi dharmamanuprapanna.
एवं त्रयी धर्ममनुप्रपन्ना
Gataagatam kama kama labhante.
गतागतं कामकामा लभन्ते
Ananyas chintayanto mami jana paryupasate.
अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जनाः पर्युपासते
Tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham.
तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्
Etnanyatevata bhaktva yajante shraddhayanvitaha.
येऽप्यन्यदेवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः
Tepi mameva kaunteya yajantya vidipurvakam.
तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्त्यविधिपूर्वकम्
Aham hi sarvayajnanam bhoktva cha prabhureva cha.
अहं हि सर्वयज्ञानां भोक्ता च प्रभुरेव च
Natu mama bijananti tatvenatasyavanti te.
न तु मामभिजानन्ति येन तस्य वन्दति
Yanti devavrata devan pitrun yanti pritavrataha.
यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन्यान्ति पितृव्रताः
Bhutani yanti bhutejya yanti medyajinopi mam.
भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्या Yanti madhyajinopi mam.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachyati.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Tadeham bhaktyupahritam ashnami priyatatmanaha.
Tadaham
तदाहं
bhaktyupahrutamashnámi
भक्तिमुद्रवितम् अश्नामि
prayatatmanaha.
प्रयतात्मनः
Yat karoshi yadashnasi yasjuhoshi tadasi yat.
Yaskaroshi yadashnasi yajjuhoshi dadati.
दधासि यत्
Yat tapasyati kaunteya tad kurushva madarpanam.
Yattapasyasi
यत्तपस्यसि
kaunteya
कौन्तेय
tatpurushva
तत्कुरुष्व
madarpanam.
मदर्पणम्
Shubha shubha phale raivam mokshase karma bandhanaihi.
Shubha shubha phalam devam
शुभाशुभवसरे
mokshase
दैवं
karma
मोक्ष्यसे
bandhanaihi.
कर्मबन्धनैः
Sannyasa yoga yuktatma vimukto mamupaishyasi.
Sannyasa yoga yuktatma
सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा
vimukto
विमुक्तो
mamupaishyasi.
मामुच्यते
So in the last session, we talked about, the 17th verse that, he's the Godfather. So the way he puts it across is, I'm the father, I'm the mother, I'm the great father, great grandfather. This, I am Om, I am all the three Vedas, everything. Ultimately, we can say there is a Godfather. We refer it. Godfather here means that he is the ultimate, father, governs everything. So in his fatherhood, he shows every attribute that a mother would do, that a great grandmother would do, and so forth, and also at the father's side. So he is the material cause. He is also the effective cause. That means he provides the material. He also provides a talent for the material to be utilized to get some work done. And then he also says that he is the supporter, the witness. Everything is him. He also says in a very beautiful way that in the 19th verse that while I give all the freedom to everybody, it's a free will. Ultimately, I withhold certain things. I hold the switch. I hold like writing the check, if you call it, for a business person. So while there is free will given, one can't take it, on their own and do everything as much as they want. I hold ultimately the authority. So the way he gives that example is that he says, I give you the heat. I withhold and give the rain whenever necessary. So we should understand whenever he says, I withhold and give the rain whenever necessary, it means what? That ultimately he holds a yardstick. He holds a stick. If somebody is going off doing a lot of adharma, somewhere there has to be a big stick that has to come forth, isn't it? And that stick he still holds. That's something, because sometimes people think free will means everything, whatever I want, I can do, etc. Yes, to a large extent. But there are also restraints given there. And then there are two categories of people he touches upon, starting from the 20th verse. People who, do a lot of, rituals, a lot of pujas to fulfill something for their own benefit. And he says those people reach the heavenly world. And whenever their fruits of action have been fructified in the lokas that they go to after the death, they have to come back in another body and to complete the journey, to continue the journey, not complete the journey, to continue the journey. And that cycle continues for such a person. So the 22nd verse, which is where we are starting today, person who has a single pointed focus on me, who worship me alone. So here, worship me alone means what? You look at him alone, right? It's like so if you look at that entire tree, we said Godfather, right? One person at the top. I worship me alone with a lot of commitment, with consistent effort, And the person who's also self-controlled. Self-control means what? The level of, detachment. The level of attachment is very little. Desires are under control, etc. I take care of their yogaha and shemaha. This word comes a couple of times in Bhagavad Gita. Just one such place. Yoga means providing what you don't possess today. So it could be a talent, it could be a material, it could be an emotion, it could be anything. See, if you look at everything in life that we do, right, every minute, every second, when the waking state, our mind is always caught up in two things. How do I get something? And that something is about I don't have that something. Right. And it could be everything. Situations, people, object, emotion, spirituality, doesn't matter anything, right? Somewhere we are looking for something. That brings me joy and sorrow. What if that brings me joy? For me, that's what I'm looking for. Now, having gotten that, this other thing that I spend a lot of, and the only other thing I spend my time on is how to preserve it. Right? I have done a lot of exercise. I have to maintain. How do I maintain it? How do I maintain it? So I look at that. Or, I've done a lot of good service. How do I continue that? Or, I've done so much in from the spiritual side. How do I sustain it? So two things. Always, how do I get what I don't have? And then to be able to sustain it. These are the only two things that we do every minute. If you categorize everything that we do, that's nothing else. It would come only in these two buckets. Now he says, I take care of both of them. For whom? Somebody who is surrendered to me totally. Somebody whose, mind is constantly on. See, ultimately, we have to understand one thing, right? We receive a lot of things. Our body itself is a gift from Him. So, those of us who think I'm achieving it because of my effort, this thing, etc., he says, yes, a lot of things you do. But at the end of the day, the giver is me. Whenever you need something that is required for your well-being, or for your support, I'm going to provide you that. And once given, I also sustain it. Now, in that, there are rules in terms of how it is sustained, how much do we respect what we have received. I've received a talent. How much do I utilize that talent in just keeping it for myself versus sharing it? All those matters. If I just think it is for my own selfish needs, our Shastra says it's also taken away. So preserving it as not as my possession, but it is a possession that's been given to me for benefit of others. Of course, I benefit also from it, but also it is meant for to be given to others, especially if it is shareable. Right? And almost every talent that we have is a shareable thing. Even our limbs are meant to be shared, or even our sense organs are meant to be shared. So yogaha kshemaha, very beautiful things, right? I give. So you want to achieve something in a sports or achieve something in your profession, I give you that. No need to ask. It's very important. No need to ask. If you have surrendered, you don't have to go ask with the begging bowl. He knows much more than about you and I than we think he knows, right? So here there's a beautiful, event that happened back in the 15th century that it was referred to in one of the things. There used to be a saint, and that saint was a poet. Those days the saints were very austere, very simple. Used to live in huts, right? All that they would do is spend a lot of time, writing things, sharing things, etc. So he and his wife, his name is Lakshmi Dharu Ravi from Orissa side. He used to be a poet, and he used to go to the court, give a lot of what you call in the local kingly courts, whatever was there, he used to share things, etc. So he used to read the Bhagavad Gita with a lot of detail. And he came across this particular verse, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. The word Vahami means carry. So he was just, how can a Lord carry? How can I let the God carry something? Something is not right. For him, it really disturbed the word Vahami. So, and he used to be a saint, well versed in Sanskrit. He said, this to me looks like a typo. This should be but dadami. Dadami means giving. The word carry means what? It's almost like, he's carrying a burden. Just to think of it, the word that is used here in Bhagavad Gita is carrying. That is the amount of burden. We think we are carrying burden in our hands with all the stuff that we do. He says, I carry your needs. I carry that and I give it to you. So he just took his book, whatever paper that he had, he penciled it in, cut that word Vahami and wrote Dadami. And this happened. And then after a few days, he went. Those days in the villages, etc., there used to be always rivers close by. And customarily, men and women and the folks would go take their bath only in the river, not in the bathroom that was built in their house. It was always there in the river because it used to be considered sacred, purifier, etc. So he goes, tells his wife. The wife, as I said, they were very simple, austere people, right? For them, those days saints would be more like, Bhavati Kshamdi, whatever is given is what that they would have that particular day. And not really worry about the next day because they know things will be taken care of. So lady had, was trying to cook. She finds nothing is there. After some time, she finds a boy coming to the front, and he's carrying something on his, one of those big baskets made out of hay, uh, and then he puts a basket down, and in the basket there are vegetables, there's some rice, and there's some fruits. But it was not the basket that caught the eye of the mother, of the wife. She noticed the boy has a big scar on his face. Lot of mud on his head, on his face, but the boy nevertheless was, not angry or anything. He was just happy. He just gave the boy. He said, "Sir told me to give it to you." That's what he told. He said because when she said, "Well, what is this?" Sir gave, and whatever the sir would be in at that particular time. He said, "What is there in your head? Why is it that what happened?" Sir hit me. Sir hit me. That's what she said. She was, anytime, right, a small boy like that's carrying something, she goes and said, quick, wait, just wait here. I'll go get some cloth, put something to wrap your head so that, there is no more blood or whatever coming out and something like that. She goes quickly inside to cut a dhoti and, bring that. By the time she comes, the boy is gone. And so she takes it in, but she is not at all happy. She says, how can my husband hit a boy? Right? And so after some time, the saint comes back home after the bath. And once seeing him, the first question she asks him is, why did you hit the boy? And he says, I didn't hit anybody. I don't know whom you're talking about. So she relates the entire thing, right? Boy came, he was hurt, etc., etc. And then it dawns on him that Vahami Dadami thing, right? What did he do? He cut that carrying part, right? And he put his own version of Dadami give. So he said, I made a gross mistake. He's carrying everything for me. I simplified to say the giver. He's carrying my load. He's carrying the thing. So he's just given me a message. If I'm carrying something for you, why do you take it away from me? I carry everything for you. Quickly goes to his room, and corrects it to say, truly you are carrying my load. Truly you're carrying, for those who are dedicated with single pointed focus on the God, he is the caretaker. He's, truly carrying in a literal sense. So that is the message that we all should take, right? Is that he gives you everything. He gives much more, much before when, it is not that we have to go to him. He knows more than you and I do about ourselves, right? So this is the true love. So he had a true love, but he also had, so sometimes messages come, right? And this is one of those messages that came to the boy. And she realized that boy was none other than Krishna. None other than Krishna to get a message across to the saint. So here, if you look at all these verses that have gone with, right? It says, I'm the caretaker, I'm this, I am the object, everything. I am everything. If you go back to earlier stanzas, go back to second chapter, everything else was, the objects in the world, your body, everything is not real. Only real thing is the self. So satya asatya, right? Remember those words? What's the truth and what's not the truth? What is real? What's not the real? Here in these chapters, when he gets from 7th chapter onwards, you're saying everything is me. This is again one level of knowledge higher. So to start with, you say, I am not this, I am not that. Remember the shloka Nirvana Shatakam? Mano buddhi hankara chittani naham na tashrota chive na jitrani netre. That shloka is what I am not the mind, I am not the emotions, I am not the senses. I am that one Shiva Tattva. All the shlokas. I'm not your friend, I'm not your father, I'm not your mother. That is, to first come to one level of knowledge and beyond all of this. That is one to start with. That's how you, as a beginner of this one. Then as you get to understand that even the stool that I'm sitting in, even the, my body, everything around me, the Panchabhutas, everything is his manifestation. That comes only after you at least first understand that he is someone other than me. First, he's someone other than me. Then slowly as you soak into the knowledge, he is me also. He is in me. He is in the things that surround me, every matter. He is in all the people and situations and objects around me. So this is like a progression, it's like a bachelor's degree, master's degree, this PhD degree that comes later. But as you step forward, so this is something you have to comprehend and understand, relate. So it's one of very beautiful verse. This is, of course, comes in Vishnu Sahasranam towards the end. But the more we soak into these kind of verses, it's really good. So yeah, going into the 23rd verse now. 23rd verse, he now talks about people who worship other gods. He refers to gods as in, for example, somebody wants to worship sun, who worships Indra, Varuna. He just clarifies very simply here. These are, so these people worship other centers above. If you look back on, ancient, what you call cultures, Egypt, and even some of the ancient, even in some places, even today, it is sun for them that they worship. It is whatever they see. Moon, some people worship the moon. Some people worship the sun. Some people worship rains. Farmers worship the rain. For them, it's everything. He says nothing wrong at all with that. He says, oh, these are all other centers of power. They were called as devas or devatas. But here in this stanza, he says, I am the Sarvatma. I am that supreme. These devas and devatas have been bestowed power by me. If not for me, their power doesn't exist. So we just, again, the reason he's saying this to us is that, we have progressed in that path where we understand a little deeper. To starters, you would say, worship Lord Ganesha, or Lord, worship Subramania Swami, or worship, Anjaneya. But as you go more and more, you say everything is one, then you go beyond that, right? So how you say this to whom matters. At this level, in the 9th chapter, this is like, you understand a lot more about who he is, who that ultimate divinity is, what that ultimate divinity is. So you say, these devas, devatas, they are like the department heads of time. I carry different departments, the fire department, the energy department, the climate department, etc. But they all report to me. I am their supreme commander. Without me, they don't exist. So again, this is because if you look at all of these, in our Rig Vedas, etc., especially a lot of rituals, lots of hymns written on these Vedas, right? On these devas, devatas. Nothing wrong at all with that. But you have to see, as you get to the higher and higher state, you have to go beyond that. So that's where this whole thing is coming from. Okay. On to the 24th verse. This is a very subtle verse. Huh? The literal meaning of it, if you see, Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha. He says, I alone am the enjoyer and the Lord of all sacrifice. I am the enjoyer. So the question first will dawn on all of us is, how can he be the enjoyer? We have learned earlier in the Bhagavad Gita that, he's just enabler. He doesn't receive anything. He doesn't get any fruits of action. So how can Bhagavad Gita say I'm the enjoyer? So we have to understand this slightly differently. Somewhere always there is a science behind the words that are used, or there's a deeper meaning behind the use. So whenever we do any action, right, whenever we put any effort, there are always results that come in the form of either joy or sorrow. Yes or no? Either it's only joy or sorrow, no other thing. You can bucket it under this. Now the question is, who is, when we say that joy or sorrow, where is that experience seen within ourselves? Maybe it is seen, in the tongue. Maybe it is seen in, but it is, even if it's a tongue, it is felt by the mind, by your emotions. Somewhere I have feeling happy. Somewhere I feel, that even if it's a sorrow, you feel it in your throat sometimes, but still your mind says it all. The question is, what is behind, what is making the tongue, feel the sweetness of whatever you're having? What is making the mind become aware that it is joyful? What is it that is making the mind, realize that it is going through sorrow? It is that consciousness. So the entity that is making you experience a particular emotion or a particular, sense feeling is that consciousness. So when he says, I am the enjoyer, he is the one that is making you enjoy. He is providing the power for us to enjoy whatever we are having or go through. So the illuminer of the sensations, if you can call it that. So the effort of whatever we do, we get some feedback, we get some result. That experience is illumined by none other than that consciousness. That is me. But he goes on to say, if this is understood, he goes on to say that most people don't realize it. They think they are enjoying it. They meaning I, I did this, I am enjoying it. Or I didn't do this right, I am suffering from this. Right? So the power behind what makes you, even feel the taste buds. When do we always realize this one? When you fall sick, when you have fever, you don't get any taste in your tongue. Boy, we realize, oh, somebody saying it is so nice. You say, boy, I can't even feel any taste, man. Hasn't it happened to all of us? You get a stomach ache, nothing, taste buds just go for a toss. That there is a science behind it why that is done, because so that you don't eat anything, you eat very less. That's a different thing. But the point is that we understand that there are experiences where we have not felt something, isn't it? So, but whenever we feel that, we know the fact that there is an enabler for all of this. A person, there's an entity that is illumining the entire thing. So, if you see it from another angle, if as I enjoy it, right, I just witness it from the foreground or the background. Yeah, wow, it is so nice. I feel so good. Thank you. Right. So when I see it as somebody seeing from the outside, my mind is happy. I am happy now. Can I be a witness to the fact that I am happy now? That witness thing that he talked about in one of the earlier verses, you can also see it from that particular angle. It's again a very subtle verse, not to be taken literally to say I'm the enjoyer, but an illuminer of that enjoyment in each one of us is him. Going on to the 25th verse. Yeah. If you look at anything that, what makes a person who he or she is? If you ask a person, what will the answer be? What you are your thoughts. Your thoughts govern who you are. If you simply put it in plain words, you what you call relish positive thoughts, you become a positive minded person. You harbor negative thoughts, you become that. There's a word called tathastu that is used, right? Tathastu means what? So it be. So, here he says that, if you start worshipping me, right, in my ultimate high nature, you come to me, you come close to me, right? But if you are more harboring, smaller tendencies, smaller thoughts, you become that. So you're a product of your thoughts. Remember this always. So the question is, next time you get a negative thought, next time you get a doubtful thought, ask yourself, is this a thought worth, what you call mushing on, or should I just move on? let the thought come and go. That is what we have to be careful about. Because the more and more I hold on to a thought, get bound by the thought, I start putting actions that are a product or a byproduct of those thoughts. This happens truly in our day-to-day life, if you see. How many times do we become aware of a thought that I'm going through right now? And put it to bed if it is something that you think is not necessary at that particular stage. But if it's a thought that is required and it's a positive thing that I have to build upon, what you call a thought with a higher goal in mind, etc. Definitely mull over it, put it into action. So the question is, where do I want to put my day-to-day life mind? Because every day we're getting through thousands and thousands of thoughts. Literally, right? When you're sitting alone, thoughts are just coming. In the limited time that I'm in this world with my body, where do I want to put the effort? And those efforts are going to manifest based on the thoughts only, nothing else. Even if I put a list of 10 things I want to do in the first thing in the morning, why is it that certain things manifest and happen, certain things others don't happen? Somewhere towards half the day, you say, this other thing I may be tomorrow, or I can't do it today. Maybe we do our own judgment call on certain things. We bucket it for good reason. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong about it. But we do this constantly, right? And towards the end of the day, we say, okay, I didn't get this done. Goes on to tomorrow. Sometimes we feel happy, sometimes we don't feel happy that certain things didn't get done, right? And it happens every day in our day-to-day life. This has got nothing to do with even spirituality. But if I'm in the spiritual realm, the question is, how many thoughts do I get in the whole day where there is a sense of gratitude, where there is a sense of thankfulness, where there is a sense of satisfaction, that there is a sense that, thanks, this happened, for it's based on blessings. If there is some reflection of it that happens every day, then we are progressing in the right. So he says the more and more you put your thoughts, even if the thought is about something you have to do materialistically, right? Somewhere, some sense of gratitude, some sense of thankfulness. If you do, he says, you will reach me. See, if you see this entire chapter, it is about traveling, the secret, right? Royal secret. Secrets of small, very practical secrets of how to reach him. So he's not saying, you go to the corner of the room and all day do this or do that, right? It's just that even in simple day-to-day things, how to live a life. All very simple, practical tips. So one thing I wanted to mention, when we are talking about that earlier stanza, right? There is a beautiful verse that we say in especially when we bow down, and that is there's a shloka called Akashat Patitam Toyam Yatha Gacchati Sagaram Sarvadeva Naskaram Keshavam Prati Gacchati. Right? You would have all heard this somewhere. Akashat Patitam Toyam. Whatever water comes from the clouds comes in the form of rain to the earth, to the ground, ultimately gets washed into rivers, and those rivers ultimately get merged into the ocean. Similarly, whatever devas, devatas, etc., that you worship, ultimately they all come and merge into me. Sarvadeva Namaskaram, Keshavam, Prati Gacchati. It goes to Keshava. So, just a lot of these, if you see the, if you see a lot of the prayers, they rhyme with a lot of the things that we are seeing here. Okay, all right. We move on to the 26th verse. These are 2, 3 verses are very, again, practical verses. The question comes is, how do you invoke him? So our simple answer is we invoke through our prayers. Now, what do I give in a prayer? Right? Well, what do I give offer in a puja? Shankranti is coming in a few days' time. Almost every household, you will see this, right? They will buy a set of things. First one is patram, some leaf. And whatever each god has got some, certain leaves that there are favorites. Ganesha has got a lot of, so Ganesha Puja, you see lots of flowers and leaves being offered of different kinds. Shiva has got a few, Tulasi for some, Bilva Patra for some. And that is done so that each of those farmers get utilized. That's the reason we have done. Rishis have been very beautiful, right? They made sure that almost every plant, is covered through all these pujas. We don't say take any flower, right? So we pick some fruits, pick some things per that particular season that is offered to a particular god. So that season offers it. And it is found in abundance. Sugarcane is found in abundance at this time of the year. We say use sugarcane as a fruit for this, for Sankranti, right? Similarly, if you see during Ganesh Chaturthi, we use a certain set of things. If you see, it's beautifully done. But the key thing is, independent of whatever it is, there is a patram, some pushpam, phalam, fruit. So he says here, if you want to invoke me, you can use a leaf. You say, I don't have any leaf, no plants around me here. At least can you get a fruit? Okay, any fruit. He's not saying, give me this fruit, that fruit, etc. You see all of this, any fruit. Yeah, our tradition says, and there's a socialistic angle, so we buy certain fruits so that the farmer benefits, the harvest season benefits, etc. That's a different angle. But from a spiritual angle, patram is a fruit. If not pushpam, there's a fruit. He says, none of these are available. I'm living in Antarctica. Then he says, toyam, 2 drops of water. Even if you're living in Arctic, you will get some snow, melted water. Can you offer water? Now, what he says very clearly here, it is not what you give. It is how you give. You give anything to me, any of these things, but give it with love. Be it a leaf, be it a flower, be it a fruit, be it just 2 drops of water. However pure that water might be, doesn't matter. Water, give it to me. Ashnami bhaktya prayachiti. Palam toyam eme bhaktya, with a lot of bhakti, with a lot of love. Tadeham bhakti pahritam ashnani prayatatmanaha. Ashnami means what? I enjoy it. I relish it. I see the devotion. So therefore, what Krishna is saying, what God is saying here, anyway, that patram, pushpam, palam, toyam, it is not his. It is not ours anyways. He has given it to us. We are just, offering it to him. But what is it that I can offer, that only I can offer, is my love, is my, gratitude, is my thankfulness. So it is not therefore that how much I put in the hundi, how much I put in the plate, right? It is with, what mindset, with what attitude, with what love that I give. That carries a long way towards connecting with him. That is the key message in this particular stanza. It is so that is the reason, being very natural, being the most humble when you do these things. It's the most important aspect. It's not about how much I give. Did I break 200 coconuts or did I break one small coconut? Therefore, it is not what you give, it is with what attitude, with what love, what devotion that you give something. You take the example, right? So many examples are there. Sudama Krishna, when Sudama, was a poor person, he and his wife. But he had a lot of love for Krishna. And Krishna, for him, one of the best friends was Sudama, right? He goes to see him in his ashram and he asks, Sudama asks his wife, what is there for me to offer to Krishna? She finds old place, all she finds in an old dabba, one small poha, beaten up rice, brown rice. No other flavorings, no nothing, no coconut, nothing. Just simple, takes it into a dabba, takes it to Krishna. Krishna sees that some Sudama is carrying, and he asks him very lovely, what is it that you're carrying for me? What is it that you brought me? With a lot of hesitation, Sudama gives it to him. And he takes that one, hand of rice and puts it into his mouth and enjoys it as though he were enjoying the sweetest of all things that he's ever had, that all things would have. Even I think you just put a plain poha into your mouth, how long will you have it? He says, what else is there with it, right? He says, there's some salt, is there some sweetness, etc. Nothing. How much can you have? It's dry. But Krishna showed all that love and devotion. And of course, Sudama was blessed with a palace, etc. That's a different thing. But the question is that they must have heard that other story, that other Puranic stories, right? I don't remember which one it is said that a devotee is giving something to Krishna, but he wants to make sure that the right fruit is given. So he takes a bite out of that fruit first, makes sure it is right, and then only offers it. People around him say, why you're eating something and give it to him? No, I want to make sure that I give the right thing to him. And Krishna enjoys it. It is given again with a lot of love. So in all of this, it is the devotee's mindset that's the most important. So as seekers, as devotees, right, that's what we have to see, right? Is not the quantity at all. It's not that you can't give any quantity. Of course, offer in abundance. If we have abundance, we should give it in abundance. But even in that abundance, not look at it as just giving and giving it. It is that it is I'm offering it with a lot of love. Good. One more verse. Yad karoshi yadashnasi, right? This is again another beautiful connected verse. Now, for a person who says God is not in temple, God is not in all the things that, pujas, etc. For me, God resides within me. He is in me. For a believer like that, for such a person, he gets this. Right? What is it that you don't go to any of the temples, you don't go to any of the pujas, you're with yourself. Some atheists would come into this category also. There are some atheists, right? They'll say, for me, God and all that, non-existent. I know myself, I know there is a power behind me. That's all I want to respect. Here he says, you don't have to give me anything. But in the way you do things, remember me. When you do something, when you eat, when you take your bath, when you sleep, in the actions that I do, remember. So here he uses multiple et karoshi, edashnasi. Whatever you do, ashnasi means what? Eating. Juhoshi, anything you offer in sacrifice, right? Penance, being in mauna, being in, following austere practices. All of that, you just simply do this, right? Give donation, give in abundance, share your talent with other people. After all, whatever you've been given is given to me. So share it. When you do that, you connect with me. You don't have to give me water, you don't have to give me food or anything, but translate that same love through your own actions and all the actions, all your worldly things that you do. The next time the boss tells you, something good, about you, gives you an accolade, thank him, thank the divine. So somebody tells you you're an expert in this, you're good at this, etc., thank him. So everywhere have that sense of gratitude. This body is a gift from him. Whatever talent, skills are his gift. And in return, what is it that I can do to others is what you do to him. Whatever seva I do to people is serving him. So even if it is constructive feedback that is being given to you, offer it to him. You have got an accolade, offer it to him. You got a headache, offer it to him. Simple as that, right? So it's people who are in the space of, and our body has all these sensations, right? Whenever I don't know if you've seen, let's say those of us who do walking, those of us who do some physical exercise, whatever, or do some sadhana, etc. There are a lot of hormones that are secreted within our body. The brain secretes. You'd have heard dopamine. What is dopamine? Dopamine is a happy hormone. It just secretes and you feel happy, you feel centered, you feel good about yourself. The body itself, gives you enough feedback. Hey, you're doing good things. Be in that space. So there's a lot, if we see these two verses, there are a lot of things we can do as a puja thing, but then there are a lot of other things that we may not be sitting in puja all day, right? But what we do is a lot of things with our day-to-day transactions, etc. There is those of us who have been to pujas, right? There's a puja, there's especially when you do Rudra puja, etc. There's one chant that's always done. It's from Shiva Manasa Puja. There is a verse there starts with Ratnai Kalpita Masanam Himajalai Snanam Cha Divyambaram. Right? It's about 5-6 verses in that particular shloka. But this is a Manasa Puja. With your mind, worshipping Shiva. So it's soft. And so here, for you to be in the mind, you have to understand the meaning of this a little bit, right? So I'll just take one or two of them and go through it. Ratnai Kalpita Asanam, right? Adorned, his asanas adorned with jewels. He is Himajalai Snanam, right? He is given bath by the holy waters of Himalayas to the Ganges. And he's adorned with a lot of things. He's given Nana Ratna Vibhushitam Mrigamadat Modankitam Chandanam, sandalwood paste, different flowers are given. He's given a Deepam Deva Dayanide Pashupate Rit Kalpitam Grihyatam. I offer this lamp and I worship you who's residing inside me in my heart. So a person who says he's on me, I don't believe in anything else. Think of it that way. You're residing in my heart. I just worship you. I bow down to you. And in my mind, I am contemplating and meditating on these aspects of you that Shiva, I'm adoring you with all these things, and I see the beauty of yours with flowers, with the mala there, with the sacred scents, etc., etc. And in the shloka also, the last shloka says, Karacharana kritam va kayajam karmajam va. Right? Shloka where it says that, with my physical body, with my mind, with my thoughts, I might have done some wrongful actions during the day. This is something that we tell children to chant at the end of before they go to sleep. And for us, all of us also, right? I might have done something unwanted. I might have hit on, insect and without my knowledge. I might have done intentionally also with my thoughts, with my emotions, with my mind, and physically. For all of that, Jaya Jaya Karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho. I forgive me. So I'm asking for forgiveness mentally to that Shiva for anything wrongful that I've done during the whole day, right? Through my sense organs, through my senses. And so just please forgive me for those things. So again, this is another thing. So in everything that we do, there are things we can also connect with in the way we do things from morning till night. So we take class.